Hey everybody, this morning I'm going to just start out with the basics. I taught my very first class on Saturday, and so I taught them from beginning to end, you know, how to do a chain stitch and the single crochet and slip stitch and the slip knot. And I think having several stitches and several things to remember, it was hard to go home and remember them, and I tried to make a little cheat sheet, but a video is probably going to be the best way to go. So you can go back to my YouTube, and the beauty of YouTube is that I don't have to do it over and over and over and over again for you to be able to get it and to remember it. You just rewind it, and if I'm too chatty, just fast forward it. No big deal. I'll try not to be too chatty because that's actually a pet peeve of mine on YouTube. I'm starting out with a number 6 hook. These are my favorite. I said that in class. Everybody has a personal preference. It doesn't matter. A number 6 and then just normal medium worsted weight yarn. This is what I did use in class to make our koozie. So the very first thing that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to move the hook out of the way, is the slip knot. And so that's what you start every project with, is the slip knot. That is what you put on your hook to get it going. And so the way I taught them, everybody also does this differently, but this is the way I do it, and this is the way I taught it. You hold your tail up to the top, so you got your working yarn down here on this end. You wrap it around your hand, and you cross it over to your thumb, and let your thumb kind of hold on to it. So you got your tail over here and your working yarn down here. So, and then you reach under your working yarn piece and grab that tail, like right there in the middle. And then this is the part that everybody kind of has a little bit of a hard time, but once you get it, you don't even, it's just muscle memory and you just do it. So grab the tail right here, and then when you pull these 4 fingers out of the middle of that loop, hold on to your tail that's underneath your thumb, and you just hold on to the tail, grab your working yarn, and these 2 fingers right here are still holding on to that. You pull it through that loop. Boop. No big deal. Not that hard. And why it's called a slip knot is because it's a knot, but it slips up and down. And so you can tighten or loosen. And so to undo it is just pull it. And if it does not snap and undo, then you did something wrong. So do it again. I'll do it one more time, maybe 2 more times. For you, but you just take it, wrap it around your hand, cross it over, reach under your working yarn and grab that tail. Pull your 4 fingers out and pull it through. Okay? And then tighten it down. Alright, this time I'm going to start with the first, it's not really a stitch, it's a chain. And so a lot of patterns start out with like chain 11, chain 14, chain however many, whatever kind of project you're working on. So this is how I hold my hook. A lot of people don't hold their hooks this way. A lot of people hold them kind of like pencils. It is whatever feels natural to you. So kind of watch other YouTube users or other people that you know that crochet. Watch how they hold them. Try it all out. Figure out what works for you. It's not a science. You don't have to do what everybody else does. Just find out what works for you. There's a lot of people that like wrap their yarn around their finger. I can't do that. So I hold it with my thumb and my finger, and then I use my bottom fingers to hold the tail down. And later when you're working and you have, like whatever your project is will be hanging down this way, you can hold that with your fingers too. So it's hooked on there with the slip knot. It's not super tight, but it's not super loose either. So how to do a chain. You have your hook and you've got the like angled end right here. You wrap under your working yarn and you pull through that loop. On your little cheat sheet I wrote like yarn over, hook, pull through. And it'll be hard in the beginning because you'll be learning how to hold everything and how to get your tension right. And you'll be pulling too hard on your tail or not hard enough. And so that literally just takes time. Don't get frustrated and just throw it in the bottom of a bag and never go back to it. So wrap under and pull. And it really helps if you rotate the head of your hook in after you yarn over so that when you pull it through, the pointy part has a opening to go through and it doesn't grab a hold of any yarn it's not supposed to. So yarn over and pull through. So there's a chain. I'm going to throw a couple more in there just so we have a foundation to do the other stitches. So there's a little line of chains. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. No big deal. All right, so then the first stitch, real stitch that I taught everybody was the single crochet. So this is what is attached to your hook. And so this right here, right after that, is your first stitch that you can go into. If you were doing a half crochet, you would probably skip that one just for the height, but because it's a single, you don't need to. So for a single crochet, you put your head of your hook into that first stitch. Okay, so you're kind of like on the back side of those chains, and you yarn over and you pull it through that chain, but not through the loops. So you pull it up, and now you have 2 loops on your hook. You see those 2? And then you yarn over and you pull through both of those loops. The last one always gets me, always makes me look like a beginner. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to do that one more time. So you go through this chain, you yarn over, you pull it up, so now you have 2 loops on your hook, 1, 2, you yarn over, you pull through those 2. Okay, so it's not that high, and some people worry about like, oh my gosh, I did it too hard, this hole is huge. No, when you do your next chain, it will cinch it down and it won't be that gaping. So that's your single crochet. And then to do a half double, which was what our project was on Saturday, it had half doubles in it, you yarn over first. So unlike the single, you yarn over first, and then you poke through the chain, you yarn over, just like the single, you pull up, also just like the single, and then for a half double, what makes it a half is that you have 3 loops on your hook now, and you yarn over, and you pull through all 1, 2, 3, all 3, okay? So let's do that from the beginning. You yarn over, poke through the next chain, you yarn over, you pull up. So you have 1, 2, 3, you yarn over, you pull through 1, 2, 3. So that's a half double. See how much taller it is than your singles that were out here on this end? Okay, so a double crochet is obviously a lot like the half double. You yarn over, you poke through, just like that. You yarn over, you pull up. And what makes it different, and it makes it just a standard double crochet, which you will see more often probably than a half double, is you yarn over, and instead of pulling through all 3, you pull through the first 2. So now you have 2 again, and you yarn over and you pull through 2. So it makes it a little bit higher than the half double. The half double tends to be a little bit shorter and bulkier, and the double is really like skinny and a little bit taller. So yarn over, poke through your next chain, yarn over, pull it up. So you got 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's your double crochet. Not a big deal. Those are just your first few stitches and your chain and your slip knot. And so anything else you'll probably see in any other tutorials. This will help you get started if you're watching other videos or you're trying, good job for you, trying to read a pattern. That's a whole different monster. So, yeah, just the basics. Thanks for watching.